All right, so we're gonna rebuild the front rim. So to do that, we're gonna take it off. I'm gonna release the front brakes like so, and then release the quick release. Like that. Unscrew the quick release. So I got the front rim out like that. And then we're gonna take the skewer out. And then put the spring on. Put it like that, so we keep everything together. Like that. So now we're gonna have to take apart the axle, and to do that, I suggest getting a cone nut wrench. So you got like this thin wrench, and then metric wrench, and then get in between. Sorry, I'm just gonna go down to the floor. Get in between the cone, like right there, on the cone, and then loosen the nut. Then I have this little magnetic tray that I put all the bearings in. I think it might be, let's see, is this 17? Yeah, so this is 17 millimeter. Shit. My cone nut wrenches are pretty roached, to be honest. Got a lot of use and it's really cheap metal, so bear with me on that. Okay, so got the nut loosened. Get the nut off. Got my little tray. So got the cone off. Yeah, that grease is kind of nasty. So let's see the other side. Oh, bearing came with. Oh, lost the bearing. So there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 bearings on each side. It's 20 bearings total. And get them all into my tray. I had a magnet. I'm gonna go look for my magnet. Alright, so I have a magnet. I'm gonna get all the bearings out. Alright, so got all the bearings out of the hub. Now I just gotta clean the old nasty grease out of there and put some new grease in. So I'm just gonna use like the bearings. I'm gonna reuse them because they're actually pretty new and I don't have replacement bearings. This bike was barely used. The grease just got old and nasty. So I'm gonna use mineral spirits and clean off the old grease and pack some new grease on. Alright, so I got the hub and bearings all cleaned up and the axles and cones all cleaned up. So now we're gonna repack the hub. So to do that, we're gonna use marine grease, and I have the tweezers to get a hold of the bearings to put in the hub. So take your wheel and then get a good dollop of grease on your finger, and then put that inside the race. And then you can just take your bearings. There should be 10 on each side on this hub. So kind of challenging because it's magnetic, but put one in there. So that might 2, 3, 4, no, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I got 10 on that side. And then on the other side, do the same thing. Put a dollop of grease on your finger. Put that in the race. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's got all 10 in there. Both axles grease. It's got 10 bearings on each side. Oh, we can put some grease on the axle and the cones. So just put some grease on the cone. Put a little bit on the axle and the threads. And then, pretty sure I had it like this. So be careful not to knock any of the bearings out. And then, so there's some extra grease that came on the axle, so I'm just gonna use that for the cone. Moving nice and smoothly. I'm gonna wipe off the excess grease. Alright, now we put the axle nut on. This is where it gets tricky, so we gotta make sure that we get it tight enough and then that there's no play in it. So we use our cone nut wrench. Mine are pretty crappy to hold the cone in place, and then tighten down the bolt, the nut. So it seems pretty tight. There's no play in it, so that's good. So moves nice and smoothly, like so. There's no play in it, so it doesn't wiggle up and down or side to side. So that's good. And then we take the skewer, and then I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease on there just to prevent corrosion and so move smoothly. And then it goes like this. So put that through. Rip off excess grease. And then the little spring goes like that. Well, not goes like that. There you have it. We just rebuilt the front hub on a mountain bike, and it's good to go. We just got to put it back on the bike. All right, now that we have the wheel rebuilt, just got to put it back in the fork. Screw in the skewer. So you want the quick release closed so that it makes an indent on your palm. Just like so. So just like that, that's how you rebuild a front hub.